everyone, and welcome back to Vitality's Happy Half Term. If you're already just joining us, then we've got loads of things to keep you happy, keep you healthy and keep you busy during the half term break. And there's loads of giveaways and prizes to be won as well. So make sure that you tag us in on all your activities and pictures and things that you're doing during this week. We'd love to see them. And yeah, make sure you use the hashtag Vitality Half Term.
Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of the Vitality Half-Term series. My name is Jamie and I'm one of the Vitality coaches. Hopefully you may have joined me for a few of our exciting sessions last week, but if you didn't and this is your first one, it's a really good place to start today. So firstly, welcome. I hope you're all doing well and feeling healthy today. So for today's session, we've got something a little bit different. It's not going to be me leading this session, fortunately, which is good news, I'm sure, for everyone. We've got an expert, one of the best ever, to be joining us and delivering this session. So it's a rugby skills session, and I can think of no one better than Jonny Wilkinson to host this one with me. So Jonny is not only a Rugby World Cup winner, he is considered genuinely as one of the best ever. Jonny, I think I'm right in saying you played 91 times for England, scoring over 1,000 points, won BBC Sports Personality of the Year. I think you won the Six Nations 4 times. I'm sure the list could go on, but my memory isn't actually that good. But thank you so much for joining today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here. This is, as much as all those things are great sort of markers of a career and stuff, the only thing that mattered was just passionately sort of getting fully engaged in what I was doing and just making the most of every moment. And that's exactly what we're doing today in this session. So that's why it's just as fun to be here as it ever was for me to play in World Cup finals and all that business.
Awesome. I'm delighted you think that way because we are excited to have you. And like Jonny said there, all we want people to do today is just get involved, give it everything that you've got and enjoy this session as much as possible. So obviously we needed to extend this invite to the wider Vitality family as well. So joining us today, we also have Cheryl, Brooke and Pippa, who are going to be joining in along the way. And it's actually a really special day as well for Brooke because it's her 10th birthday. So everyone, make sure you get into the comments right now. Wish Brooke a really happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah.
And hopefully, there you go. Jonny Wilkinson just said happy birthday on your 10th birthday.
Happy birthday, Brooke.
Do that. There you go. It's on camera. So we'll be checking in with those guys as well throughout the session. So as part of today's session, we're going to break it into 3 separate parts. So we're going to have a little bit of a skill series at the start. So we're going to be looking at our footwork and obviously with the legend here, we're obviously going to be doing some kicking. And then once we've done that part, we're going to be looking at a little bit more of the fitness element, and we're going to put all this together into a workout. So Jonny is going to act as head coach today. He's going to give me loads of tips and tricks along the way. He'll be talking to you as well in the audience, and hopefully you can get your comments in. Make sure you follow that hashtag as well at the bottom just to let us know how you're getting on. So Jonny, I think that first place to start is obviously, you know, we're going to go through so many different areas of rugby today, but firstly, we're going to start off with the physical element of footwork. So something which I was reminded of a story actually by, I'll give a shout out to Matthew Bates. I think you know him. He told me about how he was inspired by you and your kind of quick feet whilst watching a game. I think it was versus Ireland in 2002. Okay. If people haven't seen that, I think there's YouTube videos about this because it was so legendary. But can you just tell us a little bit why footwork is such an important part of rugby, particularly in the position that you played?
Well, just as being who I was in rugby, 1, you're a bit smaller than everyone. Maybe 2, you're in a position where you need to make a lot of decisions. So you don't really want to be on the floor covered by bodies. You want to be up and able to see things. So you don't really want to get tackled. And also in rugby, the less time you do spend on the floor, the more the ball stays in play and the more exciting and the more of your team you can get involved. So it's really important to be able to change direction without losing speed. And that's essentially what agility is, to be able to react instinctively, but also maintain. This is what we're going to look at today. Is a huge part of it is just balance. Sure. It's not about doing it the quickest, it's about the most balanced. And once you have balance, you can then start to explore extra speed and extra movement, but you've got to start with that balance.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, I've seen so many clips, obviously, and lots of people have seen you, and what you're really good at is being tackled and hitting people from different angles, but maintaining that direction that you're going. So for today's first drill, we're going to need just a couple of pieces of equipment. It can be absolutely anything that you want. So my equipment of choice today is some toilet rolls. So all I'm going to do, I haven't been hoarding, by the way, but I do have a few of them, is I'm going to just lay out just 3 or 4 cones. So I'm going to lay out a cone. I'm going to take one big step forward, another one, another big step forward, and that'll probably be enough for me. So I've just got 3 cones laid out on the floor. And the first drill that we're going to do is we're just going to be working on taking really, really small steps in and out of these cones. So the idea is to try and get as many steps in as you possibly can before getting to the next cone. So it's not about the speed at which we go through the cones, but it's about how many steps you can take. So Jonny, if I start doing that, do you want to just give a little explanation about things we should be looking out for?
So the main thing here is about feeling the floor. The floor is the key thing in all of this. So the sensation in your mind is just feel the floor under your feet. Stay connected to the floor. And also feel like you're in complete control of your movement. So it may seem after a while like, yeah, I've got this and I'm good at this, but there's no limit to how balanced you can feel. So really explore that. How much more effortlessly, sort of gracefully can you do this? Yeah, so to improve on just that sensation that you feel so rooted to the ground that you feel like you're almost impossible to shift while you're doing it. And then the speed is just about, continuing to drive the legs a little bit up and down and the arms too. But yeah, it's exactly it. Just really feel your feet, feel the floor, and that's your balance right there.
It's interesting you were saying that, Jonny, because you said at one point, kind of feel the balance, and it's almost like a rhythm.
Yeah.
And when I got into that rhythm, I'm out of breath a little bit now. Obviously, you start to just feel like you're gliding a bit. But I liked also what you said about feeling the floor and trying to kind of push off the floor as quickly as possible.
So when you get rhythm, when you get gliding, all those things are essentially moving towards saying flowing. When you're flowing, as you ask anyone in sport, when they feel like they're flowing, they're at their best, undoubtedly.
Minimum thinking, maximum output, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. Just instinctive, intuitive stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's definitely a good thing for me. So that definitely gets your heart rate up, that one to start with. But obviously that's us moving in one direction. So we're moving in a forward direction. But Jonny mentioned a lot earlier about agility and sidestepping as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now is I've just put an extra piece of toilet tissue out, and we're going to work on the kind of lateral movement a little bit more. So what I want people to do is to kind of be looking to run up to each cone, taking a step either side around the cone, working to push off of both feet. So you want to go from one side to the right, back to the left, lots of little fast feet in between as well. So Jonny, we're kind of working on that lateral balance on a single leg this time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any advice on this one.
Yeah, well, looking at the wheelers there doing their stuff, it looks brilliant. And to understand, first of all, there's no right or wrong in this. Everyone's individual, and you'll find your own unique way of doing this. Someone like Jason Robinson, who played for England, was incredible at this, but he did it his way because of the way he was built and the way that he saw the game and everything. So there's no right or wrong, which means that you can let go of all that thought about how am I doing? Am I doing it right? What should I do next? And as soon as you can let go of that, just do it. Just feel it as you. Do it your way, and with that you can start to really enjoy this as an exploration. You can explore this rather than think you're trying to do it correctly.
Yeah, I think that one, you can definitely, you have to think as well as act the physical movement at the same time, don't you? It's quite a tough balance between focusing on keeping your form, but also at which point do you want to change sides, how are you landing, all those sorts of things.
But as you start to just feel it, it becomes so much more simple than trying to work it out, because you try and control 50-60 steps, you try and control your knees, your ankles, your toes. Sooner or later you're going to get exhausted.
Yeah, I certainly am getting to that point. So what we've done there is we've kind of worked on combining the two elements. We've got the fast feet, the short steps, as well as the left and right movement. But there's times in rugby where you're going to have players that are going to be flying across at you. You might be moving at high speeds. So actually what you really need to be is powerful, changing direction off one leg at a time. So what I've done here is I've just put my toilet rolls now in the middle in one section. And what we're going to be doing is just changing, jumping over from side to side. But the key is trying to make sure that we land strong. So try not to wobble too much either side. You want to make sure that you're keeping your ankles nice and firm. And Jonny, obviously, again, you are an expert at this, so I'll probably leave you to give us some advice on this one.
Yeah, so the key here is to not do it quicker than you can handle in terms of balance. And that's to say, start by just getting it really smooth, really feeling it, really understanding it, really sensing that solidity. And then as you get to that point, then start to speed it up a bit, or start to maybe just push a little bit harder if you like. But really important that you start with the balance and you build from there, rather than trying to go crazy and then somehow, you know, control it. It's best to just do it gently, get the hang of it, build it a little bit more, build it, and that way you'll always be in control of your own movements.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you
looks
know,
great
doing that on alone.
Wow, you got those 1 foot, everything.
Much more energy than I have, haven't they?
Yeah,
I need to do some of that. Okay, so what we've done now is kind of breaking it into 3 parts. We've had the forward movement with the fast steps, had the forward movement with a little side step, and then we've had a bigger side step as well.
Yep.
So what we're going to do now is, while I try and catch my breath, got yet another toilet roll. We're just going to lay these toilet rolls out a little bit further apart. But this time we're going to hold a toilet roll in our hands. So whatever you've got with you, if you've got a rugby ball, brilliant, hold that. If you've got a cushion, a water bottle, it really doesn't matter what you've got, but we want to make sure that we're holding that in 2 hands. Now then, what we're going to do is, when we've got our object in 2 hands, we're going to be working to use the side steps, the little steps, to go in and out of our toilet rolls or our cushions, whatever you've got. And this is to replicate holding a ball. So Jonny, while I do that and try and demonstrate badly, do you want to just explain the importance of holding a ball in 2 hands?
Yeah, having a ball in 2 hands means you can adjust, you can adapt, you have all options available to you, which means you're very creative and spontaneous. So you maintain that position of anything is possible. The other thing about this is really important is that, yes, it may feel like you're in a living room with toilet rolls, but actually when you start to use your imagination and visualize, you can be anywhere, and your body doesn't know the difference. If you visualize that you're at Twickenham, playing in amongst people, and you're seeing that when you've got that toilet roll in your hands, you throw a dummy, and you visualize you're there doing it, your body doesn't know the difference. The body actually starts to believe it is, and then you get real practice. So don't be afraid to dream whilst you're there. Really focus on every movement is not just moving in between toilet rolls, but every movement is in fact sidestepping someone on your way to the try line. Yeah, and think about that. What you're holding in your hands isn't a toilet roll; it's an actual ball, and don't be afraid to move it around a bit. You know, if you are thinking about, here's a pass I'm going to make, and imagine your teammates calling to you, imagine defenders coming at you, and really don't be afraid to fully engage yourself in your vision and your ambitions.
I got a bit carried away there, Jonny. I did in a couple of shoulder drops.
You were Jason Robinson. You were Jason Robinson.
I think you inspired me. I quickly transformed this into Twickenham. So now that we've worked a little bit with the ball in hand, we've worked a little bit on our footwork, there's no way that we could have Jonny Wilkinson on for today's session without doing a bit of kicking. So Jonny, honestly, I don't know if it's my generation, but every kid, if you've ever seen a kid playing rugby at school and they get in this position, we all know exactly what they're doing. So we had to ask you this question. Can you explain exactly what it is you're doing when you're setting up for your kick in that position? What was going through your mind?
The process for me was about focusing on the one thing that mattered. And as I got to focus more and more of my energy into that precise kind of concentrated state, my body took that form. It was almost like the performance ready state for me to be able to just know exactly what I was about to do. Through the years it got more and more. One game we actually went out to play at Twickenham, and there was a kicking competition for some juniors just before the main game, which we were playing in, and I watched the 6 young guys that were kicking, and every single one of them was doing my stance, and whilst I was warming up, I was also doing my stance, and suddenly I realized that something very strange was going on. But it was it was a very personal thing to me. And actually really funny that you should have toilet rolls in your hand now, because when I grew up as a kid, I kicked the inner tube of toilet rolls. The cardboard tube was how I kicked at home when I was 5 years old, all the way through to probably like 15. When it was raining outside and I couldn't get outside, or other things I couldn't do outside, I'd just put that down, go in there and kick it against the curtain. So like I said, it doesn't matter what you do, it's how you engage. And as far as I was concerned, I was out there on the match field, and it all made a difference.
The power of visualization that you have is pretty incredible, and it's such an iconic stance. And obviously for you it was very personal, and got you in the right space to go ahead and execute your kick. and it's interesting to hear so many others replicated that. But even me right now, I don't know if this is a thing or not, but I feel like when I'm in this position, I just feel better, and it makes me feel more confident. So if we actually talk about kicking, the aspect of kicking today we're going to focus on is drop kicking, because you were so famous for being able to drop kick off both legs and and that's something that I'm not sure everyone realizes, but am I right in saying that when you actually kicked that drop kick in 2003, you used your right leg, which is actually technically your weaker or your less dominant of the two?
Yeah, I used to, whichever games I played, I used to use the most relevant leg according to the situation. So whichever leg allowed me to have more time to get my kick away was the leg that I'd choose. Yeah, so often I'd start with one leg, and as the defense ran that way, I'd step back the other way and use the other one, or in that World Cup final, it was just correct for me to use the right leg. So that's the one I use. And that, from being able to practice that way, like I said, the more you work on your skills, everything became possible, and suddenly you get a lot more choice than when you don't work on your skills.
Sure. I mean, it must have been an absolute nightmare for defenders. So what we're going to do to start off with, really, really simply, is all we're going to do is we're going to drop whatever object it is that you have in your hand, just kick it straight back up into your hands, trying to control it as much as you possibly can. So start with your dominant leg. A lot of us won't be as fluid on both sides as Jonny is. Jonny, I'm going to demonstrate this probably very badly, but if you're just going to give us some coaching points along the way.
On the wheelers, yeah. That's exactly it. So the real key here is to not think that you're kicking. Just think like you're walking. Just do exactly what you do with your leg when you're walking. Your body knows how to, the most effectively, move energy in the right direction. And if you just think, I'm just going to walk my foot through the ball upwards, that's it. And the more you can stay solid through your chest area, but also stay relaxed and big and tall. So stay big and tall, relax your shoulders, and just walk through it. Just walk through it. Now, if you can also finally try and finish on your toes rather than finishing leaning backwards. Exactly. There you go. So as you finish on your toes, what you do is you ground out that energy. You balance. We spoke about balance before. So when you've kicked it, try and finish in the most balanced and beautifully graceful way. And you'll find that what that does is it makes the kick, it aligns the kick with the way you finish. So you then become totally in control of what you're trying to do. If you finish balanced, the kick has to be balanced. If you finish in control, the kick has to be in control. So
it's
really
amazing that relax, saying about being relaxed, although I did just drop this, you didn't see that. Like I actually wasn't thinking about what I was kicking. I was just going through the motion. And would you say so whenever you did kick, would you even almost kind of forget that you were kicking a ball in the first place?
The state of relaxation is another way of full engagement. It just allows you to completely let go, and you just fully give yourself to what you're actually doing. So just relaxing the shoulders in every way is so powerful in any way in life. And by staying strong through the chest, that's your intention. So your body knows what it's trying to achieve. You know what you're trying to do with that kick. But by keeping your arms loose, it allows you to really commit to it. Most people think that to really commit, you have to be up here with your shoulders and really try and do all this, but that gets in the way of your real true talent, your actual intelligence. So just to allow it to happen whilst knowing with your chest what you really want to happen. So just, like I said, use that to really finish strong in a way that says, look at me, look, I'm finishing the way I want to finish. I'm living my life the way I want to live it with my shoulders loose, and you'll find that everything just falls into place.
Jonny, I swear I'm better than this, but the pressure of doing it in front of the best ever kicker I've seen is quite intense.
So that thought will put your shoulders up.
And
now you're no longer in the moment.
Forget about this. Forget about you. Exactly. Just go through the motion. So obviously, if you've tried on your stronger foot, whichever side that is, if you just want to try on the weaker side now, and Jonny, I assume we're just trying to replicate exactly the same technique. Is that right?
Just this is really important to walk. Just to walk it. Don't try and kick with your weak foot, because your mind starts to try and work out 100 things. Just walk, but also pretend to yourself. Make it look as easy as possible. Convince everyone around you that you've been doing this 1,000,000 times a day. And what that means is you make it look effortlessly graceful from the moment you start. So even the way you hold the ball or the toilet roll, don't hold it stiff. Just relax. Just let it. And if you miss it, you miss it. And if you miss it again, you miss it again. But I guarantee you, after a few goes, you'll absolutely nail it. But if you go around thinking about it, 1,000 times later, you're still thinking about it and you've barely moved. It's like when we're really, really young and we learn to walk, you just have a go, it doesn't work. You have a go, it doesn't work. You have a go, you've got it. Whereas as adults, we all kind of like, we think. And by the end of it, we've barely moved, 2 months later. But just,
Jonny, I feel like I've got there.
Look at that. I'm looking at the wheelers as well. I'm loving it.
Those guys are showing me up quite a lot, though.
Exactly. Just be how you want to be and let the skill fit you. Don't be how you don't be uncomfortable and let the skill dominate you. The skill's in you.
It's a really important point that you made there as well, because whilst people will notice that there's toilet roll all over this room right now, I wasn't thinking about that necessarily, and I felt good. So I assume it's just the case of, I feel good. I feel like I'm doing, again, I mean, that's not gone where I wanted it to, but
the thing about that is
okay.
Well, the thing about that is that we spoke about passion, is that in that state, your passion stays alive.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you start thinking, I'm not doing it, it's not working out, and it's not this, and it's not how it should be, then your passion's gone, and you don't want to do it anymore. The fact that you just trust your feel and enjoy being you and understand that it will fit you eventually. If you stay in that space, it will all align to your energy, as opposed to there's something you've got to become to do it. There isn't.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that's where passion stays alive. If you get to be you for your entire, for your entire life, whatever you do, it's like, well, that's a great sort of place to start.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. As soon as your mind comes away from just that process of kicking or walking or however you want to think about it, it all goes a little bit wrong. Hence why we're right now.
Yeah, so, it never matters. It never matters. It's all
I'm really glad you said that, because actually, if Jonny Wilkinson said it doesn't matter, he knows more than anyone. And
I've
Jonny,
made more mistakes than anyone. Believe me,
I think is it Wayne Gretzky with the quote which
Michael Jordan as well.
Yeah, exactly. You miss every shot. I've missed more than anyone else, kind of thing, but I've taken more is the message, really.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to do that. So now that we've covered kind of a little bit of fast feet, we've obviously had a masterclass in kicking as well, which I need to do some more work on, but I'm enjoying it is the main point. We're now going to focus a little bit more on the physical element. So if you guys haven't been, if you're not out of breath yet, or you're not sweating yet, now is the time that we're going to be putting that right. So Jonny, just quickly before I go through the exercises, physicality was a huge part of your game. And if, again, people want to head onto YouTube and see some of Jonny's biggest hits, they're pretty brutal. And for someone who, compared to others in a rugby team, wasn't the tallest necessarily or isn't in the biggest position, you hit harder than a lot of people I've ever seen. So in terms of the physical side of the game, is that something that you worked really hard at?
Yeah, hugely. And I think a lot of that's about desire and committing to your just what you want to happen, and you just refuse to sort of give in on that. And the other part is about just really connecting your body, becoming really effective, being strong in all your joints, being strong in all your little muscles, not just your big ones, but also just understanding how to move your body as a whole, rather than, and it's people talk about your core strength around the middle, and what that does is really connects your lower half to your upper half, so that everything you do moves you as one solid piece of life, instead of moves you as two pieces with almost like with a hinge or a fold in it. And if I say this about kicking, if you're fully aligned, it's like hitting a ball with an iron bar. But if you're not aligned, it's like hitting a ball with a piece of wood with a load of sort of hinges in it. You hit the ball and the wood just folds. Whereas when you hit it with an iron bar, the ball just whoosh goes. And what you do is you just become that solid, connected piece of life. And a lot of training, physically training, does that to you. Mentally, it's about going into a space of real simplicity.
Amazing. Okay, so we're going to do this workout now, but we're going to do it in a slightly different way. So we're going to do 4 exercises in 30 seconds work, 30 seconds rest, and we'll do a few times around. So the exercises that we're going to do are going to be some mountain climbers, some burpees, some squat jumps, and then we're going to do some quick feet as well. What would usually happen is I would explain all the coaching points, and then we'd go through it in a really structured way. But for today, I'm going to demonstrate the exercises. And Jonny, I just want you to maybe, what should we be thinking about more so rather than the actual task? If you want to kind of just explain to people, so I'll keep an eye on the timing, try and follow along what it is that I'm doing. But I think, Jonny, you can give us some really nice advice about what we should be thinking about, how we want to be moving. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready there?
All right, ready, everyone.
We're going to do a virtual fist bump. Joe, are you ready? Brooke?
Get in. There it is.
Yeah, Pepper, there you go. Okay, all right, ready. So we're going to start in 30 seconds. And we're going to do some mountain climbers. So Jonny mentioned the core. So in 3, 2, 1. Jonny, I'll hand over to you.
Okay, so just really strong through the arms and the chest and the abdomen here. So I know it looks like it's all about the legs, but really stay strong in that top area and really hold that almost like your framework, so that your legs can do what they need to do. So there's as little movement as possible in the top, because it's really solidly just saying to the legs, there you go, you can just get on with your job now. You're not being pulled around by your upper half. That's great. Looks good there.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. I'm keeping a close eye on that timing.
Yeah.
So the next one we're going to do is some burpees, because obviously Jonny mentioned earlier about you don't want to be on the floor for very long. So this one's perfect for rugby. So all we're going to do, hands go flat down on the floor. You kick your legs out, try and touch your chest down on the floor, push yourself back up, stand on your feet, jump up, and then back down again. So it's a tough one, but we'll go in 5 seconds. And then Jonny, if you want to coach us again, I'll catch my breath. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Okay, nice. So for me here, the key is that it's all, you make it look like it's all one movement. So you have that flow. So it's not this, then that, then this. It all looks like it's just all part of one movement. So make it smooth, make it look graceful, make it look like you're on the dancing stage, or you're on the ballet side of it. Even the way you land after the jump, make it a soft landing, no noise. All these kind of things is working well with your joints and your body, but also make sure your whole body's getting a workout as well.
I like that, Jonny.
Mate,
I've actually changed my technique.
Good.
So in 3,
flying here. Look at this. There's seriously high jumps going on there as well.
1.
Okay.
Relax there.
Good work, guys. That's not easy
that
at all.
the wheelers are bringing today.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, Jonny, next one we're going to do some jump squats. So again, in rugby, when you're catching the ball, we're in line out. Maro Toji, one of the Vitality ambassadors, one of the best line out jumpers.
Definitely.
What we're going to do is drop down, push up, and then land. But again, if we go in 5 seconds, can't talk right now.
You're doing well. You're doing well. Hang in there.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, so really cushion the landing. So there's no jerkiness there, and then spring up and cushion again. So it's working on the strength base of the legs here as well. Yeah, that you're so solidly supported by your legs. Like I said, those are the things that connect to the floor. So you've got that real solidity and strength in that area. Everything else can, getting momentum, getting traction, getting movement in your life. It's a great place to be. So really focus on that soft landing, gentle knee bend, and then back up. Oh, there's some real grace. Look at this. I like it. That's it.
3, 2,
good work, guys. Good
1.
work. Go on.
Relax there.
Yes. Oh, we've had a clap. Oh, dear.
Okay, so are you okay?
Yeah, I think they're all right.
Okay,
this is a birthday treat. This birthday treat for Brooke.
Cake is earned today. So we're going to bring back an object. We're going to work on the fast feet, but with this time, you can do anything that you want. So I'm bringing in my Jason Robinson shoulder drop, but put everything that we've learned today into practice.
Yep.
Then we're going to do the whole thing all over again.
Yeah.
And that'll be us for today. So
everybody's
ready? In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
So definitely use your imagination here. Don't make this about letting a clock tick down, but make it about what you want to be doing in life. Maybe you're running down the street, dodging pedestrians. Maybe you're on the field, in and out of defenders, scoring a try. And do surprise yourself a little bit. Surprise yourself. Don't work it out before you do it. Don't try and I'm going to do this and this. Just surprise yourself. Feel the floor and just enjoy your body being able to move in all directions, all parts of you. And just sooner or later you'll realize that time has flown. So stay in that dream. Stay in that, feel it. Hear the noise of the crowd. Your name being shouted. Jamie.
This is what I've always wanted. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Jonny, you mentioned this, surprise yourself. I definitely did that, not on purpose. So now that we've got familiar, we'll just take another 30 seconds. We'll go through these all one more time and try and perfect each of them. So Jonny, you taught us a lot there about how we should be thinking. But what I really liked is how we look as well. I think at times with exercise, you just want to push as hard as you can or put as much effort in, but actually doing things with the correct form, I think is really important. So maybe we should focus a little more on that this time.
Yeah, I think it's the training side of things is you live 80% of your life getting in and out of cars, getting in and out of bed, walking down steps, sitting down, standing back up, and all these things. And you only get to maybe even 5% of your life is actually doing the hard stuff you're training for, or even training. So to do things gracefully and flow, you find people are amazing at lifting weights, but when they get out of a car, they're kind of, get out of bed. Now, the point is to make your life flow and grace so you can be efficient with your energy and spend it on the things you love doing, and stay sort of really full of movement and flexible and able to do all these incredible things in your life. And the way to do that is to do it whilst you're training. So make it flow, make it graceful, make it easy, make it connect, as opposed to go in there and thrash it, because then you end up with that same energy in your life, just getting things done. Instead of actually, training is not going to achieve anything. Training is the achievement in itself. If you can get the payback from actually doing it, rather than thinking that I'm doing my training just so I can have the payback later on, then doing your training becomes a chore. But if you realize that just make your training as beautiful as possible, despite what it is that you're doing, just make it beautiful.
I love that. Okay, that is the best way I think we're going to start round two. All I'm going to keep in mind is flow. That's all I want to keep. So, Jonny, the first exercise again was the mountain climber. So I'll give us a countdown, and then I'll hand back to you. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Yeah, so I'd say for this one, just focus on the noise of your feet. Get into that rhythm of just absolute, and your breathing as well. Find a rhythm to your breathing, and a rhythm to that noise with your feet. Maybe the feel of your knees coming up with your sort of core and how that's working, and just fall into that rhythm. Definitely fall into that rhythm. Don't fall into the how long have I got left, but just fall into that rhythm. And you start to realize you can do this for a long time if you're just lost in that rhythm. And that's great. Wheelers are going great down there as well.
Love it. I think we should go as long as you said. You said we did.
Yeah, just all day. Just go all day. We've got time.
I'm going to give us a 3, 2, 1. But Jonny, honestly, that is such a different. I've never thought about exercise that way, and it's. To be honest with you, I don't know what time we did then, but it almost didn't really matter, because you just go to feel, and you kind of just work through each step at a time. I think that's actually a really cool thing to do. So next exercise we're going to do is burpees again. I personally find these ones the toughest. So
yeah, definitely.
If you can give us any cues as to things like that to focus on. We've got 3, 2, 1. I'll pass back to you, Jonny.
You can do whatever you want with these sessions, but things I would do would be to see the part you're doing now, so the down and then legs up as the kind of preparation, and the jump as the spring into life. So it's that kind of like, you get excited now in this part, and then it's the release of and then back in and build and build and build and build, and then here we go, just sort of, and just get into that process of kind of everything leads on to something else. Everything's leading onto a great movement, and then you're back into this, cushion it, build up. It's just not about getting things done. It's not about numbers. It's not about figures. It's about feeling something.
Yeah, I like that. And we'll give it 3.
Yeah,
2,
go on. You got
1.
it. Go on. Definitely the hardest one. Definitely the hardest one.
But the thing that you said there, actually, when you jump up, you feel that I've done another one, and then that re-energizes you almost as you go back to hit the floor again, which is pretty tough.
Yeah, that is tough. Yeah, that's burpees are actually one of my perhaps favorite all-time exercises, just because it engages all of you.
Yeah, you feel like
it's brilliant. Yeah.
Whoever programmed this, though, I'm not sure what they were thinking, because now we've put in squat jumps after, which is pretty tough.
Yeah.
So again, whole body movement.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep in mind the flow and how I look as well. Definitely. So we're going 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. It's so important on this that there's just that soft landing and that almost returning back to earth, and that you kind of imagine your feet are landing and dropping 6 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet underground, that you're becoming part of the floor. It's not you landing on the floor. You are the floor. You just rise up and then you sit back down on the floor. And just that groundedness is what this is all about. Balance, grounded, feeling supported by the earth, feeling just happy to be here, and happy to be to be part of the earth and the planet as well, and be alive.
Love it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Good job, Willis. They're still going.
If I talk enough random things like this, then time flies, doesn't it? Because you're too busy to work out what the hell I'm speaking about.
This means nothing right now, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So we're back to our final exercise. Bring in whatever target you use. I'm going to add in a couple of kicks as well, just because I feel like I've channeled my inner Jonny Wilkinson. I'm going to take myself to the 2003 World Cup final, but visualize wherever you want to be. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Final one then.
Definitely. Just, it's a great power of imagination. Just, yes, there it is. We used to do this with my coach all the time. He used to play 5 minutes of the actual game, and I'd be falling on the floor, getting up, imagining I'd been tackled, clearing rucks, making tackles, hitting kicks, passing. I'd be shouting to my teammates, everything, just to, if you, we can't play the game right now, we can't train, but it's like, but in your mind, you can do all of this, and your body does not know the difference. So this is as good as being out there. That's brilliant.
I'm going to go down for the try in 3.
Oh, there's some big kicks going on in the Wheeler household. Huge kicks going on.
Good job, you guys. I think we've all just secretly won the World Cup in our own heads. Which is one of the best things I've actually ever done. So, guys, good work. The Wheelers, give us a fist bump again to end the session. I think we're going to do a team one. There you go.
Ready, bang. Nice. Yes, well done, guys.
Thank you, Jonny, for that. I think that you've spoken so much today and really got me thinking about the exercise that I do and how I do it. And there's going to be so many kids watching today, and I think you can really teach us a lot about how we go about our training and why we do our training. So I guess if you had any advice to a young Jonny Wilkinson watching right now while I try and catch my breath, what would that actually be?
I think just from my perspective, it's all about passion and excitement and opportunity. And the more you see opportunity, the more passion and excitement stays alive. And what that means is turning up to each session fresh, brand new. Just let go of the things you think, what happened last week and it has to be like this and now it's going to be like this. Let those go and let it be how it is today. And I think that the key for that in this side of things is that you can get carried away thinking it's all about the big games, which is maybe, 10, 15, 20 a year. And then you look back and think, well, I can play all my rugby over 20 years and I probably only played 400 games. But actually within that, there's probably 1,000 training sessions. And there's 1,000 morning walks, talks with you, and hundreds of thousands of other interactions. And if you fully engage in those as well, they're all part of your performance. If you can learn to be beautifully expressive and open in every moment, that's exactly what you want on the field. And this is what I felt when I was at my best on the field. I was just open and aware and just content and flowing. And yet when I was training, I was so angry and I realized that all I was doing was just getting all that stuff out of the way so I could have a few minutes on the weekend of joy. And it's like, well, no, just live your whole life in joy and then realize that you're preparing beautifully by doing that. Everyone thinks that preparing is being upset and tired and doing this, but it's not. Preparing to be amazing is being amazing now. And that'll help you be amazing when you need to be amazing, when you're doing something that, that you consider to be really, really important to you.
I think that's such good advice right now as well, because me personally, but I'm sure lots of other people are thinking life's put on hold and all that we're trying to do is come back ready for whenever we're allowed to go back to what was supposedly normal. And what you've just said actually questions all of that, because it's not about maybe thinking about, then I'll be happy or then I'll achieve. What about all of the things that you do day to day? And so I guess my final question to you, because I could ask you so many questions, is when you were playing and when you were in those moments, is that how you thought back then, or is this something that you've worked on as you've progressed through your career?
It's just this simple choice that you either think that all that, in a way, sort of suffering and stress suddenly turns into joy, or you realize that actually the joy comes as a result of letting go of all that suffering and stress. And what I started to understand towards the end of my career was it was the second one all along. That you think that being in the changing room and doing this suddenly turns into this when you get out in the field. It doesn't. It's just that when you get out in the field, the whistle goes and what's happening around you is so exciting to you, in a kind of unknown, who knows kind of way, that you just drop the suffering and think, well, no, this moment right now is too important. But when you're in the changing room, you're thinking this moment right now is not important enough because it's not as important as what's going to happen next. If we can start to understand that this moment is all we've got, and lockdown is all we've got, and just to be here and just to be alive and to be able to train when so many people aren't able to train at the moment and are able to do things because of what's happening, to be able to train, to be with your family or whatever, is that there's nothing bigger than this moment right now. And therefore, that's what I came to understand, was that the time I spent with my family or having, when eating or whatever I was doing, it was just as important as what I was going to do on the weekend in front of 80,000 people. And that's the understanding, is that because I played in front of 80,000 people and we won amazing games, and it never satisfied me. I just kept trying to do it again. And I realized at the end of my career, I still got to the same point as being like, well, I've achieved everything I wanted and I'm still not satisfied. What I really wanted was just to be in this moment. And I think that's a realization I was lucky to have at a relatively young age, because you just realize now that's for me, that's going to be a life well lived, to be able to say, I was just in every moment as all of me, not, oh, well, look at this list of games I won and this is what people thought of me and this is my bank account or any of that business. It's just, I was just there fully, which meant I got to really fully appreciate everyone I was with and everything that was around me.
I mean, for someone like you say who has achieved everything, but to be able to speak in that way and tell us all that you can find joy in absolutely everything, I think that's what we should all, obviously we've learned so much today in terms of rugby, but much bigger than that. You know, you've explained to us that, and I think that's something that is so positive. And as we go into this final week of half term for a lot of people, it's something that we can find joy in everything. And I saw a little picture of shot there of the wheelers all just sitting there and listening to you, and they were loving it. So you guys, did you enjoy that? Can you give us a thumbs up?
Just enough energy left for the birthday thumbs up.
Yeah, you guys did well. Brooke, happy birthday again. I hope this has been a good 10th birthday. You guys,
well, just to say before I go, just to the wheelers there, Pippa and Brooke, it's like, if you want an example of what we're talking about, just those are your leaders right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got too many leaders talking about how tough life is, and you've got a load of leaders out there just showing us how beautiful every moment can be. So it's time we sort of sat down at their feet and opened our minds and our hearts a bit more to that example.
You can teach us. I like that a lot.
Exactly.
Cool. Perfect. All right. Well, Jonny, honestly, it's been incredible having you here today. You've taught us so much about rugby and so much more than that. And to listen to you as someone who has achieved everything, to talk in this way, I think is really powerful. So thank you so much for this. And we want to carry this conversation on. So for this evening at 6 p.m, if you want to join myself with Ellie Simmons and James Rodwell, we'll be talking about mental well-being. We'll be talking about resilience and kind of their experiences through this time as well. So please do come back and join us for this. And again, tomorrow we'll be back with Jessica Ennis, one of Jonny's mates.
Wow, yes.
As well. So 12:30 p.m, we'll be having another live workout with her. And we've got so much more to cover this week. So Jonny, again, honestly, thank you so much for your time today. Everyone watching, we hope you've enjoyed it. The wheelers, great job. You've been legends. We'll learn from you for sure. And hopefully we'll see you all again soon.
Take care, guys. Happy birthday again. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.